Today's video we are looking at what we did on the 1st of September, and most of this was working on the concrete pad for the pizza or wood-fired oven. So to do that I needed to build a frame, which, since I already have some lumber here from the smoker frame, figured that's a good place to start. In addition, these boards were already the correct width for the short sides, so I figured if I use those, then I'll have a box that'll be the same size, and it'll just help be slightly more aesthetically pleasing. However, because these frame pieces had actually been here sitting here for a year, they needed a little bit of coaxing to get out. But it was sure a good feeling to finally get those removed and be able to level that gravel up to the concrete, which is the way that it was intended to be when I started working on them last year and ran out of rain-free days to do so. You can see the concrete is wet. For the first week we constantly came out and sprayed it off every chance we got. And I just took a lot of the chunks of concrete that spilled over the edges and just kind of tossed them there in the center. Again, this will actually be a offset smoker, so the right side, or the top right, I guess, short side of that pad is actually going to be where the smoker will be. The left side is where the cook box will be, and it'll be 2 or 3 bricks, 2 or 3 cinder blocks, so 16 or 24 inches off the ground for the bottom of the smoking, or of the cooking chamber. Then the cooking chamber will be 16 or 24 inches deep. I won't know, to be honest, until I actually get at least the first 2 courses and can kind of get a feel for what it's going to be like to have to bend down and pick things up. I'm thinking it'll be 24 inches high and then 16 inches deep, so that I'm not having to, stoop down or bend too much. But so now I'm just taking those. I brought the backhoe over here to dig that out a little bit, try and get it level. I ended up having that a few inches higher, so it's not on the same plane as this other pad. But I didn't want to dig too deep down into I didn't want to destroy the tree roots. Although admittedly that particular tree is, it's an ash, so it's one of the many that will be disappearing in the next several years. So I'm just kind of trying to keep things square and level as I go. I took the suction cup on the GoPro decided to fail. I took some of the smaller pieces and locked the corners after I checked it for square, so that it'll stay square as I kind of move it around. And right there is where I'm trying to decide what to do, because I've already started digging into the roots. So I just decided to kind of level it where it is, and then build the other corner that's closest to the camera, build that corner up to where it needed to be. But it actually ended up, I got that pretty close to level with the backhoe, so it didn't actually require too much effort to get it leveled. One thing I did, shall we say, correctly with this smaller pad that I did not do with the smoker pad was that I actually filled everything and leveled the fill before putting the concrete in, so I ended up using far less concrete. So I've got it pretty much where I want it, and now I brought in a scoop of gravel. And then I'm just going to try and clean it up a little bit so the gravel can just kind of bring that up to where it needs to be instead of trying to fill in really deep spots. That's kind of what the dirt's for. Double checking to make sure I didn't move it. That was an old trashy tarp that just kind of needs a spot to disappear to. And that scoop actually turned out to be almost perfect for bringing everything level right up to the bottom of the frame boards. At this point, it looks like I'm a few weeks behind on getting these videos in. Since this is the first and it's currently I actually don't know what day it is today. It's the 26th. Wow. I got quite far behind on these. So at this point we've actually got the area leveled, and it's pretty sweet out there. We got everything, well, not leveled, sorry, smoothed and graded, and we are now back in rainy season, so we got all of this stuff done kind of just in the nick of time, so that we could get some grass seed down right before, like literally it started to rain on Saturday. It's now Tuesday, and it has pretty much rained constantly. I mean, admittedly, most of it is Washington rain, so a lot of the times you go out and it's just a kind of a light falling mist. But this particular area up here was one that was quite the difficulty. This was actually intended to be a kind of an off-grid cabin type thing where we could go and hang out, and so it was built about 30 feet wide and 45 feet long, I think. And I had planned on coming back through and leveling it. This that we're playing with right there is actually a filbert that I accidentally dug up well, not accidentally. I found it and it was in the way while I was working on the driveway. And so, since it had a really nice root ball on it, I brought it over and planted it. And I watered it when I planted it, and then I totally forgot about it. So we were actually really surprised that while we thought it was dead, it turns out there's actually a lot of new growth on the main trunk. So we were pretty excited that actually did live. But there was the goal was that there's a ditch here that runs all the way around this, and because we planned on having a cabin here, we wanted the water to aggressively stay away from the cabin itself. So I'm starting to take stuff from the high area and fill in that ditch, because now we no longer need a ditch. This is going to be Emily's, she calls it her secret garden, and it's going to have a bunch of flowers and have like a little kind of a deck to relax, and if people want to just come and chill, or if she wants to be out somewhere to do some exercises and things. And this little oak tree right here is one that we like where it is, but as you can tell, it was damaged by wind or snow or something and never really recovered. So we're trying to take advantage of this birch tree over here and see if we can get the oak tree to stand up a little bit better. I'm going to go back through this winter or spring before it actually wakes up and see if I can't use some like EMT pipe or something to actually get that to stand straight again. But we're just trying to get it out of the way right there so that I can maneuver the tractor around. And we were trying to decide what Emily actually wants done with this area. In her mind, this was a quick thing that was gonna only take me 5 or 10, maybe 15 minutes to do. And so I spent some time up there to get it roughly leveled, but I went back up there another time when I had the box blade on the tractor and spent about an hour and a half, might have been closer to 2 hours, just driving around and cutting things down and building things up and pushing it so it's a really nice, mostly it's all smoothed out, it's mostly level with just a slight slant so the water won't pool anywhere up there. And on Saturday we also took a bunch of cover crop seeds and got them spread out up there so that those can grow this fall, and they should die down in the spring so we can plant some other stuff, but that'll help build the soil up a little bit. So for this I got smart, and instead of trying to move the mixer around as much as I had to when we poured this other pad, I took some scrap metal and a couple of the boards from the previous frame and built a little concrete sled. Not a, sort of like what you'd see on a concrete truck. And that worked out quite amazingly. The only thing I would change would be to, the next time I do that, I'll build it a little bit stronger and longer, so I can get it to go a little bit further. But we also were smart and got smaller buckets so that we didn't struggle as much by the end of the night. But the camera battery is about to run out here, so that's about where we're going to have to end this video. We did get that done. And so we'll show you that update in a future video. As always, thank you for watching. God bless you and yours, and I hope you all stay safe out there.